You're listening to Dude Podcast with JC and Will. Put some pep in that step. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm JC.
And I'm Will. And you're listening to
Weird Dude.
How's it going, dudes?
It's the Dude Podcast. It's Will and JC singing the songs for the people to see.
We should make that our new intro. I like that.
That wasn't half bad.
That was kind of Sinatra-esque.
Oh, 'cause you didn't know. I completely went out the rails there. But at what point do I guess I gotta take these decorations down at some point, don't I?
You know what? I do it in pieces. So I've already gotten the outside lights down, and this,
decorations, by the way, Christmas decorations.
Yeah,
for
Christmas
all
decorations.
those,
and I got to get the tree down this week. When you have a family, you're kind of obligated to get the tree out every year. But if you lived by yourself, would you get a tree out every year?
No.
I would bring out my Christmas spirit elsewhere. Like, wear festive underwear or something.
If it was just, are you talking about a scenario where it's just me?
Just you.
Well, it's going to be like a tree full of like cigarettes or so. I don't even know what that version of me looks like. I don't even want to know what that version of me is. single, almost 40-year-old version of me. It'd be, yeah, seriously. I can't even imagine what it would be. You know how much it'd be like saltine crackers and
sliced ham
and fruit snacks. That would be like. That's all you just see, like wrappers of that, like falling all over the place. Like me and just eating. Do you know that was one of the coolest gifts I ever? I think that's when I realized I was like absolutely in love with. Well, I mean, I knew I was in love with my wife, but like she wasn't my wife at the time when we were dating, right? Like,
what did she get you?
So it was one of her first Valentine's days, and she made me, no joke, a bouquet of fruit snacks.
Oh, that's right up your alley.
There's no better way to my heart. And it was like really good fruit snacks. It was the Black Forest ones that have the juice inside.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I trust they are delicious.
Oh, they are naughty little juicy. I mean, they're like a high class gusher, basically.
My youngest son Rowdy's coming in. I'm gonna have him say something in the mic.
My favorite was
Rowdy.
The eye contact you were making at the door. What's up, Rowdy?
Can you say hi, JC? Say hi.
Hi, Rowdy. Rowdy, I live in the computer. I got to get out of here. Can you help me get out of here?
Say, are you in the computer?
I'm in the computer.
Are you going to go night-night? Can you say night-night to Mr. JC?
Night-night, Rowdy.
Good night. Love you.
Night.
Okay.
Oh, I'm your dada, not him. I'm your real dada.
Oh, here we go. Good night, buddy. I love you. He's such a stinker, dude.
Dude, my favorite is Rowdy's voice is incredible.
Yeah.
His voice and how he talks are both unbelievable. He's like a mannequin, or not a mannequin. He's like a what's it called? Ventriloquist. Yeah, ventriloquist doll. Yeah, he talks like a ventriloquist doll, and he has the sweetest little. It's the cutest voice I've ever heard.
It's my favorite thing. And he'll like we'll be out and about, and he'll just go, "That's my dada." Just random, like he'll just let a stranger know, like, "That's my dada." And they're like, cool.
You know, that's one of those things that like I want to say to like a big like big burly trucker guy and be like, nice, man, right on. So yeah, to your question before, and going back to decorations, I can't imagine. Well, you know what? No, if it was just me, it would be one of two ways. Actually, I take that back. I'm either going one of two ways. I'm going one way, which is I don't give an F and nothing's going up, or I become that weirdo who like goes way over the top, and like that's like I'm like planning in July. I think if it's just me, I'm either going one of two ways. There's no in between.
So what does father and husband JC do for the holidays? Are you somewhere in the middle now?
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I think I did an outstanding job in my garage.
Yeah,
let me tell you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, every year when I put up the lights, I get about 5 minutes in, and then I turn into just a super grouchy old man. I'm just like, why am I doing this? I hate this. Nobody's going to care about this. And it's not for me. I do it every year, but I hate it.
Well, you know what? You sound like a Scrooge.
You know what? Bah humbug.
Ooh.
Little Timmy doesn't need his... Am I thinking the wrong... I almost said little Timmy doesn't need his porridge. Is there a boy named Timmy in that? And did he need porridge?
Tiny Tim. And I think Tiny Tim didn't have any food and he then like starved to death or something. Or he had like a disease. I don't know. He was just like limping around and then he died. I just know, like,
so dark.
Like we were supposed to be like they never, I don't think they ever gave you like exactly what he had. I mean, I'd have to.
Maybe rickets?
You have what the heck is rickets?
Rickets is a disease that causes bones to soften and weaken in children. I don't know. I'm just guessing what he had, but I just assumed it was something like rickets.
It rhymed with crickets, and that's the only reason you know that.
Oh, I swear. That's a real thing. Google it.
Yeah, so anyway, you're a regular Scrooge. My wife is my wife is obsessed with Charles Dickens. Loves every iteration of A Christmas Carol. Like obsessed with A Christmas Carol.
Really?
I've been subjected to every version multiple times. She found a pretty old version of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Story at my grandparents' house, and like she like kept reading it, and my grandparents like, you want this? And you would have thought like she like got the golden ticket from Willy Wonka or something like that. She was like, oh, she was like crying basically, and it's like, all right, like they were like, we're not going to read it, fine.
You know what's crazy is, so our good friend Donnie Martin, I don't know why that reminded me of this, but his wife is obsessed with, she has just books upon books upon books upon books of just Lincoln. Like, she'll collect Lincoln books and she reads them. I don't know, I find it fascinating when people have like a very niche, like passion about something and collect it. Like, I had a boss who was obsessed with old-timey spoons, and he would just collect different types of spoons.
That is really weird. I think spoons is a very
almost like
interesting
Victorian, like the older, like old spoons, not just like Williams Sonoma spoons.
But like that's crazy. Be like, oh, you see, that's the old Goldslopser. That's what the little I don't know, tiny Native American children would eat. I don't know. Like how, like, what, do you get excited about? Like, does he like the feel of it in his mouth? Does he like appreciates the sloping of it?
I think it's the if you think about it, like my parents still have the spoons that they had that we used when we were growing up, right?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common. I think people just keep the silverware they buy when they're young adults, right?
Yeah.
I bet his fascination is like there's a story behind each spoon. Like, this is the utensils used at a dinner table for a very specific family somewhere. I think it's like the story behind it. That's really fascinating to him.
I can buy into that a little bit. I remember there was a girl that I dated in college for like a week, dude. It was very, very short-lived, right? Very quick. And I went and met her parents, and her dad was obsessed with trains. Obsessed. And dude, it was weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was like I was like subjected to like hanging out in this guy's garage and him like an hour and a half, like 90 minutes like was spent just with him showing me his different trains.
You know what? You've touched on a subject that I've experienced only a handful of times, but I mean, I did not date a lot outside of my wife and maybe a couple other people, but I have a few.
You sound like such a prude when you say, I didn't date a lot.
Well, I did. Dating made me I don't know. I just wasn't good at dating. And a few of the flings I've had, there was a couple times where I met the parents of the girls, right? And you can't help but see what your life might be like if you continue to get serious with this person. And there have been times where I'm like, I don't know if I'm the key that fits into this, keyhole. I like it's just not. I don't jive well here. Did you have that experience with Train Man?
I mean, it wasn't Train Man per se, but I don't think it helped. I think I was like.
But did you picture that being your life for just a second?
I do think in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't want this. This is I'm very. I'd rather jump off a moving train. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is get me out of here. I'm gonna.
Your in-laws, I feel like, are perfect fit. Like, they're just like they're hilarious. They're nice. They're loud. They tell great stories. They're funny. Like. And I mean that in the most positive ways. Like, your in-laws are amazing, and they're like, I feel like they fit you perfectly.
Every day with my in-laws is an interesting like story. Like, it's always interesting. I'm laughing continual. I'm surprised almost every interaction. I walk away kind of being like slightly stunned at something that happened, But to your point, they're very loving. I enjoy them. They enjoy me, and so it's a perfect thing. One of my favorite things, my mother-in-law tells you a lot. Like, she's always like I'm convinced she has no internal monologue.
Everything just goes from brain to mouth. Yeah,
that could be anything. You know what I mean? And that could be any and everything that she's telling you at any given time. What's crazy is she'll tell you about, she's having stomach issues, and she's going into sometimes a decent amount of depth about those stomach issues, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, eat some Bran, woman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but here's the other crazy thing, right? So she's over communicating all of this. Carol Ann gets back from college, and like, her mom has like a bandage on or something. And she's like, Mom, what happened? She's like, I had cancer. And she was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I didn't want to bother you. So like, she had a mastectomy, dude. She had breast cancer, had a mastectomy, and didn't tell her daughter until she get back home. So it's like, you tell people about your stomach issues and the constipation, but you won't tell people your only daughter, that you had cancer.
Yeah, that's great.
You didn't want to inconvenience her at college. You know what my father-in-law is a pro at? He is a pro at really getting conversational as you're walking out the door. Like, he'll say a really interesting thing, like to the point where you're like, damn it! Like, you have to go back and address it. It's like, like.
Did I ever tell you about the time I wore Sinatra's pants? You're like, why would you say that as I'm leaving?
We've been sitting here for 4 hours and you never mentioned Sinatra's pants, yet the door is halfway opened. He'll mention something like that, or he's like, he's like, hey, I got a $500 to Best Buy. What should I get? I'm like, gosh, dang it. Like, we could have been talking about that on the couch. Like, what do you mean you have a $500 gift card to Best Buy, and you want to talk about, like, you need to make a decision right now about what we're going to get.
I would say at family functions, maybe like I don't know, maybe it's my dad's family, but I do feel like kind of the Irish goodbye is kind of a thing there.
Well, they're all aren't they all Irish?
Well, Welsh.
Well,
So, I mean, yeah, but you I mean, your family's your in-laws side is Italian, right? So like,
yeah. It's we're hugging and we're kissing and they're forcing food upon you and you have to say no. Like it's
is kissing a man on the lips a thing? Is that a thing?
you know sometimes
Like, have you kissed an uncle on the lips yet?
no I don't I'm not kissing dudes. But I've seen Shaw do it a couple
Yeah,
times.
I mean, yeah, right.
It's not, but he's not. He's more of a cheek guy. But I've seen him do it a couple times, to like like to like dudes that he'd be like, "That's a real Italian." You know what I mean? Like a real because there's levels to this, right? Like he's for a lot of people, like for an Oklahoman, you're like, "Oh my god, that guy's like the most Italian guy I've ever met." But then like, dude, you get in here. And there's like some bocce clubs and stuff that I've been at where I'm like, ooh, I mean, these guys are like fresh off the boat or first generation or just like a very like, hey, you kissed me on the lips. That's what
Do
we
intense
respect.
like millennial Italians do that? Like people our
I've
age?
never seen it, but like I have to say, like, the Italian American culture is still very much alive and well. Like if people are like worried that like that's dying off, I would invite you up a couple of weekends a year to some feasts. There's feasts that correlate with religious holiday, like it's for a patron saint or something like that. It's an excuse for people to get together, eat a lot of food, and it's usually like a fundraiser for like the church or for something like that. And there's a couple of these in the local area, and that's where you see the youngs, and listen, they got their chains and they got their hair and they got. I mean, it is real. And listen, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I've assimilated. I'm become a little bit of that myself. I got a gold chain. I wear a chain.
We've talked about that. Let me ask you this: if I come to your in-laws' house and I say I'm going to make dinner, and I just make spaghetti, would that drive them nuts? Like, would it drive them nuts? Yeah, like.
Yeah, yeah, dude, you'd have to know what you're doing. I would warn you, like, come in with a game plan.
Would that be entertaining for you to watch me make spaghetti in your mother-in-law's kitchen?
Yeah, I mean, my mother-in-law she wouldn't be the one work. Well, she's also very opinionated though, so if you didn't like it, she'd be like, "This tastes like garbage." She would just say it. But like Shaw would get like, what do you like? Shaw would be like very like he'd be trying to sniff you out. Let me also explain this, and this also kind of gives you an idea. Carol Ann does not cook in her parents' house because it's such a issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Shaw is very particular, and he'll meddle in whatever you're doing. So like he's gonna be very opinionated, and he's gonna come in and he's gonna question everything you're doing. Yeah, you couldn't get away with it. Like I'm just telling you, his only daughter won't even do it. Or you have to basically play sous chef. Basically, if you in his kitchen, your only role is to clean up after him and to maybe help him in some of the prep.
Oh, so he doesn't do the cleanup. He just does the cook?
He doesn't. Well, I mean, yeah, he does not. That man does not clean well. Let me put it that way. I mean, you don't want him in charge of the cleanup. It's like watching your kids try to clean up. You know what I mean? Where you're like, okay, all right, clean up your area, and then you get in there and you're like, the heck? What was this? What was?
Oh, have you seen on Instagram people talking about that they have like an Italian significant other? It's a trend on social media right now where you say you're making spaghetti, and while the Italian spouse is in the kitchen, you take spaghetti noodles and break them in half before you put it in the boiling water, it's the funniest thing ever because these Italians lose their mind. They're like, "Why would you do that?" It was like it'd be like you murdered their dog or something. Like they lose their minds. It's the funniest thing ever.
The thing that you could do to piss people, if you like bought Pizza Hut and like brought that in, or like bought, God forbid you bought, like, okay, God forbid you bring Pizza Hut into the household, that's one thing. But if you like went to Pizza Hut and like if they had like an Italian thing, or even like,
you know what I'm gonna do when I come up there next? I promise you I'm gonna do this without your approval or your wife's approval. I'm going to tell your in-laws, I'm going to say, I read about this Italian place. It is authentic. It's owned by a man named John. It's supposed to be incredible. And I'm going to bring in about 12 boxes of Papa John's and say, apparently this pizza is incredible. I want to see their faces melt.
I'm telling you, that was one of the things that was really startling to me when I came up here, and they were like, "Oh, like, what do you like?" I mean, seriously, like, it's like shameful, like, you know, how they will be like, I would never order that. I would never eat that. Why would you eat that? You know, and it's yeah, pizza places up here, sandwich places up here, you know, Italian food up here. It's very personal, man. It's like there's only
there's a little part of me that kind of likes it because most people don't value a good cooked meal. A little part of me kind of loves that.
I love it. I think it's awesome. I love it. I think it's great. And it's but yeah, if me and you were cooking, it'd be Metagon. You're a Metagon. It's not a real Italian, right? You're you know, so go by the wayside. So yeah, man.
Okay, so I want to tell a story before I forget it because my wife and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me or follow me on social media, you'll know that we got a puppy. We got a puppy.
What's the puppy's name?
We got a puppy. His name is Chip, and he's a lab. And
how's Chip doing, by the way?
He's doing great. He's like twice his size. Like he is sprouting very fast. But anywho, so Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. He got the old snip of his bubbles, if you know what I'm saying. So that Monday night, the night before, we were explaining to our sons, hey, you know, Chip, we're going to remove his testicles. We've been talking about testicles and private parts with our oldest, Archie. And just kind of teaching him about the anatomy. And so we're kind of having a conversation about it. And he said, why are you going to, you know, cut his testicles off? And we said, well, testicles, as you know, is how you make babies. And we don't want Chip to make babies. We don't want him to have any babies because then we got to take care of him and we can't do that. And I said, but for you, you know, you keep your testicles because if someday you want babies, that's how you have them. And he goes, oh, man, if I have babies, I'm going to be like, oh, guys, keep it down. I need to relax. You guys are crazy. We're like, oh, no. We've been making our inner monologues way too vocal lately, apparently, because he's like, yeah, when I have kids, I'm going to be like, oh, guys, I just need to sit down and relax. Calm down, guys.
I just love the idea that he's exhausted by his future children when he's like 5. Like, however he envisions these children to be, he just is like, oh my gosh, guys, please.
Jordan and I thought about it, we're like, yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, we're probably saying that probably a little too much. Like, guys, just calm down. Like, we need to sit down and relax. It was just so funny. That's how he thinks parenthood is.
He's not wrong. That's the thing. In fact, he's way too accurate.
It really is. At the end of every day, we're just like, guys, can you just play with your toys or something, like nice and quietly? Like, just why do you have more energy now than you did when you woke up? Why? That's how our every night goes. I wanted to touch on something about getting my dog's members taken away. I had to take him in early. I had to get him there at 7 o'clock in the morning, right? In Claremore, Oklahoma, that's like, a 20-minute drive by highway. So I get there really early. I have my coffee. I take my dog in there, and I walk into there with the vet, and she's kind of asking me some questions. And all of a sudden, she gets down. She gets her hands underneath there, and she's doing something, right? And I'm kind of like, what is she doing? And she goes, okay, yep, okay. He has everything. And I thought, part of my brain, I was still too tired to ask what she meant by that. But I thought, what was she looking for? She said everything is there. What do you think she meant by that?
I guess they, they're going to go in there, and I guess
Has that ever happened where not all the components were there?
Yeah, of course. There's people who have one. There's people who only got one, baby.
Do you know anyone who's been born with one ball?
I'm telling you, there's plenty of people in the world who have one.
But I gotta say, have you taken your pups to get neutered?
No, I gotta say, yeah, both are guys.
You kind of feel bad, like
I feel terrible. I think the whole thing is awful. But at the same point, here's what's sad. Here's the sad truth. Is like I think it's kind of inhumane, if I'm being honest with you. Like it really is. But let me also say this: have you met dogs that have them?
They're out and they're insane.
They're like teenage boys. They're like they're like, no, this is terrible. They're aggressive. They're aggressive.
Yeah.
They hump a lot. And then again, their whole goal is to just leave. Their whole goal is to leave. Like the nice thing is once you neuter them, their whole goal becomes like literally being petted and food. Mm-hmm. When you take the lady out of the equation, or I don't know, maybe some of them are into men. I don't know, but either way, they want to get out of the house and they want to find another dog to do the deed on.
I was wondering is, do you think someone out there has thought a vasectomy meant castration and went to the doctor and basically said, like, I need you to, remove my member, and then only to wake up and eventually realize that vasectomies were a whole different thing than castration.
Maybe in like the 1400s. I don't think in like modern history.
But do you think people ever go to the hospital to do that? Like, do you think that's a request?
Well, I have heard stories about like people accidentally like amputating the wrong arm and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that has happened. Like that kind of stuff has happened.
Amputating the wrong limb?
Yeah, stuff like that happens, man. I'm telling you, like big mistakes happen.
No joke. When I get a vasectomy, I will leave specific instructions, like steady that hand.
You're awake most times.
I don't want to be awake, but there's a part of me that wants to just make sure, like, okay, you're leaving all the stuff. You're leaving everything there, right? You're just doing a little, Oh, speaking of, earlier tonight, I was getting a snack from my oldest kid.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare scenario. I was getting a snack from my oldest kid, Rowdy, my youngest kid, very sweet little boy, but he comes up, kind of walks in front of me as I'm getting Archie a snack, bites my thigh just inches from my member.
Oh my God!
When I say I screamed with all of my might. It was too close for comfort. Oh.
And so let me ask you this. What did you think it was at first? Did you think you got like stung by something?
No, because I felt Rowdy go in front of me. But here's the thing. You're not expecting your child of 2 years that you've known for 2 years to bite you in the nether regions. But oh my, I mean, I'm telling you, there's a video going around of this guy, and he's playing like video games on his couch. He's laying down, and the little boy crawls up on the couch just to snuggle with him, and just you see the boy. It's on the security cam. He bites the man's junk, and he just goes, "Ah! He bit me in the dick!" Have you seen this? It is my nightmare. I'm constantly worried that's going to happen to me. Tonight, I got so close to that.
Oh, were you ever were you a biter as a child?
I was not a biter, no.
You know who was a really bad biter?
Who?
My wife.
Oh, really?
To the point where, like, there was a time when her mom's told this story, because her mom always be like, "Yeah, Carol Ann used to bite kids all the time." And I'm like, "What?" And then she's like, "Yeah, she was bad. One time we were at the library, she bit this kid, and I said, 'Honey, we have to leave.' And they just ran out. They just ran out of there. They didn't want to have to deal with the consequences. So it was bad." I think she like broke skin or something. Like, it was like it was just funny. The mom's first reaction was like, "Oh, we can't go." She was like, "I don't want to get sued. Hey, we're not coming back to this library. See ya." I'll never forget. So when I worked at the Jewish Community Center, like, I worked primarily with second grade to like sixth grade. Those were like the kids that I would watch or whatever. But a couple times, like, I got put with like the kindergartners because, like, I don't know, they basically just needed a body, you know what I mean? Or they were like, "Hey, we need your help to like assist. Somebody has to go out or whatever." And I think I was helping. There was like an after school program too, or not after school. There was like an aftercare program. It was great because you got paid like double. It was awesome. So I was like, heck yeah. So I did it every once in a while. It's completely different. Like, the kindergarten was like, whoa, like these are little kids, like, these are babies. You know what I mean? Like, there's just such a difference in that jump. And I'll never forget, man. There was we were outside, and this one kid's like, "Oh, my stomach hurts." So I'm like, "Oh man, what's wrong, buddy?" He goes, "I don't know, it really hurts." And I go, "Oh, what, buddy? Like, I feel so bad. Like, is it like, do you not feel well, or what's going on?" He goes, and he lifts up his shirt, and lo and behold, he had bite marks on his stomach. Some kid had come up and bit him on the stomach. And in my head, I'm like, these barbarians, these like 5-year-olds are like, they're like crazy. They're like cavemen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's insane.
We are constantly trying to keep our boys from just destroying each other. They don't do it out of anger. That's just how they operate. Their whole mission in life is just, get out of my way. I need this thing in front of me.
It's what it is, man. Well, I think we should salute Chip's balls. To Chip's balls.
Chip, I'm sorry, friend.
He had a good pair of balls. Well, I'm sure, I don't know. Were they good balls? I don't know. You know better than most.
About balls?
No, about Chip's balls.
Well, I didn't, it wasn't a thing I regularly looked at.
Claude had big balls. Claude had distractingly big balls. They would become conversation pieces. He had a couple of like grapes down there. Yeah, to the point where like kids would be like, "That dog needs to wear pants." There were kids who were like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Well," like, and like no one else, because they were huge and they were like shiny. They were like shiny too, dude. So why they were wild looking? They were kind of shiny. They were kind of like glistening.
When you gave Claude a bath, did you have to, clean the balls?
I mean, we weren't shining those bad boys up. I wasn't polishing those bad boys up. I think they just naturally gleamed like that. All right, listen, dudes, thank you for sharing, liking. We appreciate it. I can feel the duty energy rising.
Always.
In 2025.
Always.
2025 is the year of the dude.
It is the year of the dude. We got a lot of great things happen. Actually, no, we don't. But we will have a lot of great things happen. I make it sound like we have a plan. We don't have a plan, but we're just grateful you guys are listening. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's really all. But we love you, duties.
We do love you. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. Go Thunder, and God bless Bob Uecker, who just passed today. May you rest in peace, Mr. Baseball. And yeah, have a great week.
Rest in peace, Chips Balls.
Yes, and chip balls. Goodbye.
Bye.